and a pen. It could also be on digital, like if someone doesn't have paper right now, like could use Paint, Illustrator, anything. Yeah, and when everyone is ready, like we can start. Basically, yeah. Is everyone having a paper or anyone doesn't, and we'll make it in a digital form? We could also use the mirror board. Someone. So, okay, let's assume everyone have a paper. So what we should do is like, okay, we just grab the paper and then we make it into like we make it like this size. So when we make it bigger again, it's like 8 quadrants, and then we will work on each quadrant. Oh, great, Juan. So yeah, let me know when everyone got it. Feel free to jump into the talk or say it in the chat.
So we're folding it hot dog style twice. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, we need like to have 8, like split in 8 pieces. So we will draw an emotion in every one of those.
Okay.
Hey, Italpi, we are doing a burning out exercise, and for the moment, the only thing we did is like just grab a piece of paper and make it into 8 different quadrants. So each of the quadrants will be used for the exercise. So Gideon, Levy, Nate, do you have it? Like the digital? Okay, great.
Sorry, Zep, did you say 8 quadrants or 4? I just
8.
Okay.
I don't have a paper on me, but I can do like on a Google Doc, right?
Yeah. I don't know if you can draw in a Google Doc, but you could use also Words. Yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do is like I'm going to put a timer for 1 minute, and then on 1 minute you will draw like when you are working, especially like let's focus like on the TC. And then when that something happens on the TC that you feel like you get burned out or it triggers some emotions. So the idea is like everyone in 1 minute will try to draw this situation, and then when do like the 8, then we will explain to the rest of the team. And then when we got like, okay, we got so many things like burnout people in the TC, and then we will do a vote. So like, what are the most important that we could address? And then at the end, we will do like this same thing, like but for solutions for the 3-4 situations we decide we should look solutions for. So I'm putting a timer of 1 minute, and we can draw an emotion that burn out us in the TC.
Hey, Zepti, are you saying you want to do one emotion in each one of these 8 squares? Is that?
Yeah, emotion probably is not the right word. It's like some actions that triggers burning out emotions in you.
But this is just for one quadrant, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'll put 1 minute timer, and we only focus on one quadrant right now. So I'll start the timing now. Okay, thumbs up. So I'll put the timer again, and we go on the second one until we got 8. Okay, 1 minute for the second one. And if anyone doesn't, okay, let me stop. And if anyone doesn't finish something, it's okay. Like it's better just to move to the next one, and it's like just to get like the first, the first thoughts we have in our mind.
And this
Okay.
one's a different situation, right? Is that?
Yeah. The idea is to right now get so many situations, and then we will focus on which ones are the most important ones. Hey Durgadas, we're running an exercise right now. The intention is like having different situations. We have like this paper, and then it's pretty bad like the timing, like when we don't get to start all together. But basically, we're drawing situations that burn us out. So feel free to grab a paper and draw. We are doing one each minute.
Oh, okay. Sorry to interrupt you then. I was just gonna listen. Thanks.
Yeah. Oh.
What is in the second quadrant, Septi?
Another situation that triggers you
Another.
bad emotions in the TC.
Oh, so it's just one situation in detail.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. And then it's just like you need to start like drawing it. Let's put 10 seconds more on the second one, and then we go to the third one. Okay, so we go to the third one. Okay, so I'll put the timer again. We go for the fourth one.
But this is assuming that we have many situations that causes burnout. I'm a little confused.
Yeah, it could also be little ones, like having a lot of TMs, like, everyone has theirs.
Okay.
Okay, we go for the 5. Okay, we go for the next one. 3 more to go. And if in one you don't get nothing, it's okay. We just skip it. Two more. And the last one. Okay, I just added a table on the agenda. So okay, like the first thing, like okay, let's have a round of how many everyone added. I put like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 6 situations that triggers me emotions like negatively in the TC.
Got 4.
Okay, and let's pass it. Who do you pass it next?
Pass it to Libby.
Well, I put the 8, but I think it was not specific situations to the TAC. Maybe I understood it wrong. But in general, like in my work environment, things that make me feel that way.
Okay, yeah, that's awesome. Who do you pass?
Okay, I'll pass to Gideon.
I have 8. Yeah. I have 8. I will pass to Juan.
I also had 8, but like Livy, not only in the TC, but like in my environment, in my working environment. I think Nate's missing.
No, he went. But Italpi, did you have? Okay, if not, okay, the next step should be like we start sharing what we had, and then I'll try to write them in the agenda, all the things we said, and then we will vote on those. So anyone want to start? Should I start? Okay, I can start. The first, I'll try to share. Like, ideally, this exercise was quite cooler. Like in real life, like people was easy to share stuff. But the first one I drew was like a circle, and the idea behind that is like we don't have at least proven a circular economy, and this creates frustration on me. Like, because okay, we know like we're using money to build stuff, but then we don't know how this money is going back. So like the economy is not fully circular. Well, I should type it. Yeah, so we don't have a circular economy, and that sometimes frustrates me. And it's like, yeah, we're doing this, but is this going to work? Yeah. And then the second one is also related with money, and it's like, especially when I was building this master sheet and I see how we're using the money, and I feel like, well, that's not how I would use the money. Which, we are a group, and everyone, of course, have they say. But then when I see stuff like I wouldn't spend money on that, it's frustrating. Then the third one, I just put a headset and a bunch of paper, and it's like I have to do all those things, but then are all these 4 calls that I should be attending, and it's like, yeah, it stressed me out. So I would say long calendar. Another one is this one. I just put a couple of papers, and then one had it's basically agreements like, okay, I'll get that done for the 19th, but then it's like it's not done until the 29th, and it's like it creates frustration because you also had agreement with other people, and then it's like you feel pressure from both sides. Like you feel pressure because you're pushing your body to get things done, but then you're also feeling pressure by other person because they are expecting also get things done. That's something that's happening especially with Aragon right now. Yeah, so deadline. Yeah, another that's very similar when I was telling Libby. It's like, open your phone, having, you have like so much things you want to do, and then you end up doing stuff like, it's needed, it's important, but it's not what you had in mind. Like, for example, this morning, I was helping Santi to get SourceCred activated. Like, he had the settings not right, so when he was typing to the bot was not DMing him because his privacy settings were like not accepting DMs from anyone, and then the bot was trying to DM him, and like I was thinking what can it be, and then you spend time on those little things that are cool. I mean, I feel good when I'm talking with Santi, and it's all great, but it's like especially right now, like I feel like I need to get so many things done before leaving. It's like yeah, it's cool, it's needed, it's important, but it's like not what I was expecting to do, and this sometimes also frustrates me. I don't know how to type it in the table that. Yeah, extra things, I don't know. And then the last one is this one. Like sometimes like I feel like someone is taking like leadership roles, and then everyone's like yeah, and I'm like, dude, but I feel that that's not the right way. And then when that's something that especially happened a lot with the Press Magedon, like I felt like I put so many arguments into the forum that no one answered me, and I'm feeling the same thing on things that are happening now. And I don't know, like I mean, I don't want to throw stuff and then leave. It's like I feel like something is not going right. This also creates me frustration when we are, like I feel like, yeah, basically it's that. I don't know who would like to be the second one. Okay, I'll pass. Oh, okay, you'll take it, Nate.
Go, Nate,
All
please.
yours.
No, go, Nate, please.
Okay. So I only have 4, and forgive my drawings, but let's see if you can see that. No. Let me take this off. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, how do you take that autofocus off? Do you know?
I think there's a settings here in the video settings. It's just a filter. Okay, did I do it? No.
Yeah, we can see it, but just put it a
Okay.
little higher. Yeah, there.
Okay, so this is me. And this is me looking at all the things that I think should be getting done. And then these are requests and ideas and other things that kind of bog you down as you're trying to focus on this over here. And so that is one of the things that really gets me burnt out a little bit. Just because, you don't want to ignore these requests and these ideas and stuff, but it's also like I'm still looking at this right here. And it's hard to do that. My second one is this guy. So here is a very complex thing that needs to get done. And I'm trying to look at it and analyze it, and it's a big question mark sometimes, and the time horizon is largely undefined, or maybe even way too short than it needs to be. And so it's like having something very complex and trying to break it down is very, very difficult in a certain time horizon. The third one I have is this one. So this one is me trying to build something and then having the thoughts of, every other person in the organization of how they would do it or do something like, what's trying to be done. And I end up just building a brick wall for myself that I have to eventually tear down because I don't know. I keep going back on making sure that everybody is having their voice heard or have their mark on that type of activity, and so it's a very frustrating thing. And then the last one, of course, is me trying to. Okay, well, this is a poor drawing, but this is, how you stack stones very carefully, and this is like stacking stones for something, and then somebody taking that stone and using it for their own. Yeah, that is the other one, and so forgive the drawings, but those are kind of some of the things that are really frustrating when operating like this. But yeah, so I'll pass it on.
I feel so contemplated made by your drawings. I feel like I identify with all of them.
Go, Livy, please.
Yeah, mine, I couldn't draw, so I'll try to bring some type of image to it, but I've been feeling very burnt out with the need of being present in multiple calls in one day. It feels like the body gets into some type of panic attack that you can't really eat or find time to like go to the bathroom or to move or to do things that are very basic for human existence. And then your brain needs to be like so plugged into a screen And this has been driving me crazy. And then the second one is I feel burnout when messages are in the backlog of my head. So they're not even like in the computer anymore. They transferred to my brain and then they go around with me no matter where I go. You know, if I go to take a shower, or if I'm going to sleep, or if I'm going out with friends, is like I know exactly how to map who are the people that I didn't answer yet. What is the document that is waiting for like a review? What is the and this is just there forever.
Thank you for saying
And then I also feel when I say yes to things that I didn't want to do, and when I say yes to things that I want to do. At this point, saying yes has just been a mistake, and I just can't stop it because there's too many things that are exciting, and there are things that I feel like I have the responsibility to say yes. So there's guilt in both ways. And also I feel, and this is a very personal one, I think, but I feel burnout when I'm in a transient environment where it's hard to find good connection, quiet place, accessible plugs, food, like all of these things that are like today, for example, I had to facilitate the book club call in the taxi coming out of the airport from Cairo because my flight was delayed. And these situations have been happening like way more often than they should. And then also when I have yeah, I feel like everything becomes too mental too easily. And even in the conferences, like that there's this release of being in the presence of people, I felt like I could see people's minds like always having like a, a an electrical circuit, you know, like there's so much that is like up in the cloud and in the head, and there's not enough like descending to the body and cooling down. I feel like everyone's minds is a little inflamed, including mine. That was the vision I had, that there's very little body anything like, and that this is just not healthy. It's this feeling of like, yeah, frying. And also I feel burnout when I feel like a sense of responsibility for people well-being, um or when I feel like I'm a block in the work they're doing, which feels like then I'm contributing to other people's burnouts. And like how can I do everything I need to do to unblock people? And also, what if I'm like, I have been having this crisis a lot lately of like, there's probably a lot of choices I made culturally that were not good for people. And then this feels like heavy sometimes. And I feel burnout when I don't have time to prepare enough for meetings or deadlines. And then when I've been doing, I think not now because I got more of a balance of the in-person thing. So I feel like my ideas and my workflow works better when I'm more connected to the body. But I feel like if I'm not doing that, it's easy to get into a mediocre point. And then I feel like that's so unfair with me and with people. And yeah, those were mine. That pass to you, Juan.
Thanks, Livy. Yeah, I think I relate to what all of you have said. I will show my drawings. I got very creative. This first one is like the first you are sleeping and then you are working. And this happens more in America than in Europe because in Europe people work at night and in the afternoon. But in America, you are like, oh, I am waking up. Oh, I have a call right now. And like, yeah, like from like having that work in mind all the time. And here we have like a Pandora's box and some exclamation marks, because everything feels urgent, and every time you open your computer you're like, oh my god, I don't know how many messages I am going to receive, how many people is having a crisis. And this also is like a car, and he's in a tunnel, and there are three ways to go, and there are always uncertainties around the road, because like, okay, we have to be sustainable, but how what exactly is to be sustainable, and is there any point of reference that we can take around that? This one is like a calendar, and it's like the Google Calendar. I first started having like the Google Calendar only with the TC calls, but now I have like Aragon calls and some One Hive calls and other events, TA, Giveth. So it's like, a really big calendar, and like all days pass really fast. This other one is like that you feel that you're running and you're happy, but you're tired at the same time, like with sweat. You're happy but sweaty. This one is like that we are looking at something very complex, and each of us has a different perception. Like some of us think it's a star, or they're a triangle, or a circle, and that's something that I see a lot in conflictive situations, and I just draw it. This one is like you're running and getting into a goal, but then after that goal is another goal immediately. So it's like we are not like, okay, we got into a goal and things can calm down, but it's like a goal and you haven't recovered your energies when there's another sprint. This one is the meme that the world is burning out, and we're like, all is good drinking some tea, because the world is burning out. Like you see all the gas crisis, the economy, all those things, and we're like, oh my god, we are not really like sometimes bringing that reality to these calls. And this last one is like sometimes we feel like you're carrying the world on your shoulders. Thanks for making me draw, Septi. I loved drawing when I was a kid, but I stopped doing it for a lot of time, so thank you.
Those were amazing draws, Juan.
I will pass it to Gideon.
Thanks, Juan. I love those. Actually, I used to draw, but now I don't know what happened. But so these are pretty simple. So the first one is me kind of feeling. So this is me. I'm going to be totally honest. Like I could kind of BS this, but like this is how I'm feeling. All right. So so this first one is kind of me going like, holy shit, like we got to get this, we got to get our act together, because we may not be around, and it's kind of feeling like not everybody's on that same page. This one is kind of like feeling like there's certain doors that we need to open up, but there's sometimes people there who are kind of blocking it. I think it's so interesting to see, like, we're talking about the same things, but from different perspectives, right? This is kind of another version of that, where I'm like asking a lot of questions and then there's no response sometimes. And then this is one where this is pretty rare, but this is like occasionally there are times when people will kind of like, there's like inappropriate outbursts, let's say, that can really burn people out. Like it really burns social bridges, and that destroys the fabric, the cultural fabric. This is one.
Could you explain that again? You use a word that I do not understand.
This one. This is just like, if you're having an interaction with somebody, and maybe they mistake your intentions or whatever, and there's a very strong negative response. This is like what gravity is meant for, but in the cases where gravity doesn't catch it, I'm talking about those kinds of things. Like they really do. I mean, this is an ad for gravity, I guess. So, so does that make sense? I don't want to go into like specific details.
Gravity, where you at?
Yeah, exactly. That one is a clock that feels like it's going backwards, because sometimes it feels like things go really slowly, like it's like, oh my God. Or sometimes actually I feel that way with meetings. Like there's so many meetings that like time almost seems to flow backwards. And then this one is kind of like just a visual of like throwing, there's like things that need doing. So you can see there's like somebody throwing a package here, and then it's just kind of landing on the floor, right? It's like there are people who, it's just like people aren't sure who's supposed to do what, and so they just kind of pile up on the floor. And this one is one where it's like, this is the positive aspects of the TEC. There's like a lot of enthusiasm and positivity, but there's also this kind of like side of me that's like, yeah, but I'm a little bit worried right now. We actually we're under some tight pressure right now, and we actually have to step up, and it doesn't quite match. And then this one is where it feels like there's lots of different targets. Like lots of people are kind of they're looking at different things. And I'm just kind of sitting there going like, I don't know what to do with this, because there seems to be lots of different directions that we're looking at and we're moving in. And I guess, yeah, I'll just leave it there. Thank you.
That's great. Yeah, it's amazing to feel like what everyone thinks and feel, and I feel like we share many things in here that are very important. Like now, the next step should, and I don't think we will have.
What about Itao? Itao, I don't know if you had the chance to do the exercise. Is that how you pronounce her name? Itao P?
Yeah, Itapi shows up in a lot of our calls, but hasn't participated yet. And so, if you are there, we would love to have you, but no pressure either way.
Yeah, if you want to say hi, introduce yourself, or even just send me a message, it would be awesome to chat.
Yeah. Regarding the exercise, probably I can share my screen. I could prepare that better, but I didn't. What I'm sharing, is that the right one? Yeah. Basically what I put is like try to summarize what we said in here. Probably a lot of typo errors and stuff, like was kind of hurrying. So like the next step should be like we vote on I don't know, let's say we have like 10 dots, and then we put those, and then the ones that have like more dots, then the next step should be like we could do a round on how to solve each. I think that would be like the faster thing, because I don't think we have time like to start drawing again and to how to solve it and do all that stuff. But maybe we could vote on those, and then maybe we have a round chatting around how to solve this, and probably the one who proposed it don't have nothing to say, because it's that's what I'm feeling, and I don't know how to solve it. Otherwise, I would solve it. I would do it, but then maybe the others can share their point of view.
Do you want to just go around and say like the most important, what we each think is the most important one to resolve, for the sake of time?
Yeah, I mean, the idea is like, we got all of those, and now like the idea is only get like 4, because we cannot fix everything, but at least start from what we, the things that also like feels like affects more people, and then improving our health.
Hey, Septi, can you put that link in the chat?
Oh, totally. I put it on this Stewards chat. We have it here.
I mean, I can start with one of them.
Okay.
And it's just simply like the coordination issue of like there's a lot going on, and when you're contributing to something, there's not a lot of everybody being on the same page. And I think a lot of this has to do with our planning. And so one thing I guess I would like to see done about that would be, instead of our sprint planning having these individual issues and everybody trying to do their own individual issue and solve their own individual issue and keeping up with it, that we kind of do a little bit better job of swarming, where we say, hey, instead of having individual issues, we have these large epics, and we as a community can vote on which epics are important for that particular sprint, and we swarm to execute on that sprint, of that epic on that sprint. Individual working groups can still keep working on whatever directions they're heading in, but as a unit, as a community, we focus on these two major epics, and we focus on executing it each sprint. And I think that would solve a lot of issues in terms of like expectations, time commitments, things of that nature. But yeah, so those are my thoughts around it. And I think it's a very, very important thing that can help alleviate some burnout.
Can I ask something on that same thing that you're sharing? Like, I really think it's a very cool idea to have like, epics for the community. But then, like, what I'm seeing is like sometimes we do our retrospectives. We see some stuff like they should get done, but then they do not get done just because like people is focusing on other things, like they feel they have to do, and it's like we kind of have those epics. We could put them into the sprint planning with smaller issues, but at the same time, I feel like we'll even like we sometimes like people wanted to do those because they're really focusing on what they think it's more important.
Yeah, but I also think that leads to burnout, because then you don't have the support you need to execute or finish up on that task. Where I think if we had a better swarming attitude.
What could be cool for that is using token log. Like token log was designed for that. So there could be a curation of issues with the community. And
Like
that could be like a way.
Like at the beginning of sprint planning.
It could be like ongoing. Maybe there is it has to have a date. Yeah, maybe at the beginning of sprint planning, like what is the issue that was most voted by the community to be worked on? Like we have a sprint planning, and then there is like a few days for voting, and then token holders can participate on deciding like what should the focus of people be. And it's not something top down, because you would still be deciding what issues you want to work on, and then we would just see like what issues from all of those that people would like to work on are being prioritized or like are considered a priority by everyone.
I like that a lot, and that way you have this big initiative, and then you can just have comms going, okay, how do I contribute to this? And Gravity, how do I contribute to this? And all the working groups can be like, okay, where do I fit in within this initiative that we voted on? I like it.
Yeah, we can have more like focusing on one thing at a time.
So this is a little bit different. This is different from that, but one of the things I heard pretty much is like you're looking at like a diamond and it has all these different facets, but it's the same problem, which is too much work flowing through too few people, right, who are responsible for actually guiding, stewarding that work. And the way that we're structured right now, the bigger we get, the more of that stress we're going to probably feel, right? Like the more work that transparency gets with external clients, the more work that gravity does, the more you're just going to get pulled. So I feel like one of the most important things that's facing us right now is kind of rethinking some of our assumptions about how we do this. I don't have an answer, right? So I'm not. This isn't me saying like, and I have an answer, but I have a question, and the question is like, we don't want like the corporate structure, right? We know that scales, that works in certain ways, but it has all this toxicity that comes with it, right? But we do need some kind of systems for accountability, like, and I think there are different models out there that are worth looking at. Like one is a community organizing type model, where you have community organizers who are there, and we sort of do this today, where we've got like a few people who are coordinating and they're bringing in volunteer work from lots of people in different areas, but we don't quite have the systems in place to coordinate that. That's one. Another is like the holacracy type model, where it's like you have self-directed work teams. That also works pretty well, but has some issues. But I guess what I'm saying is that we don't have to solve this right now. Like, I think what we're all describing in these pictures is the stress that results from this fundamental fact that we're trying to manage too much with too few people, and we don't quite have the systems for doing it. And so I'd like maybe, to suggest that over the next 6 to 9 months, we think about how we solve this more systematically.
I liked Nate's suggestion, and
Juan raised the
sorry,
hand
go ahead.
before. I was just going to say, like, Juan raised the hand before. I don't know if you wanted to say something on what Gideon was saying.
Oh no.
Okay, sorry for interrupting, Libby.
No worries. I think, the suggestion, like when Nate brought up, and then maybe using token log, for example, could be a solution for what you're saying, Gideon, because I feel like we've been approaching the issue as like, okay, we have too few people for too many things to be done. And what we've been trying to do so far is to get more people. But I feel like this just creates more things to be done because people want to do different things. But if we focused maybe on less things to be done, like if we reduce the scope, then we would kind of solve the problem because we wouldn't have like too many things to be done by few people. Like, how could we reduce the scope in a way that we're focusing on one thing at a time, but then we don't feel this like sense of crazy overwhelm, and then all of us can contribute from like different spectrums of the solution of that one problem. I think that's kind of what I was talking in SoftConf yesterday, that I would love to, like, for example, to be the central problem of the TEC now, and for like, how could all of us help with that solution in a way that we're not like creating so many infinite things to be doing. And
Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to say that I also resonate a lot with something that Livy said earlier, and it's like it's a very mental environment, and I think that also through education we can reduce some of the anxiety that we put into ourselves. For example, sometimes we feel that it's urgent to reply a message, but really, like, if you take more time, the world is not gonna end. So sometimes that pressure is also like self-imposed, because, for example, I have created myself the pressure of trying to offer gravity services, but really, maybe like no one told me, hey, gravity has to be self-sustainable in 1 year. It's just something that I made, and sometimes it's just like we put pressure to ourselves, and like we say, hey, this needs to be done in 2 days or in 1 week, and sometimes, yeah, we need to reduce the sense of urgency of everything.
I also want to say something that resonated with what Gideon said, and don't fully remember what you said, but yeah, we were talking about accountability, and like we were doing this master sheet with Rex, and then like the accountability methods kind of are there, but then we were making like funny memes, like there was people. I will not say names. Information is there anyway, but it's like some people is like, okay, I'm asking for 349 because I asked for a credential and write a letter. It's like the time of the things that they're saying they're doing looks like very minimum, and then they're asking for some sum of money, and this is happening, in my opinion, quite often. And it's it's like it's there, but I feel like no one wants to say that is that. It's like we feel like we have like all this relationship, and we don't want to hurt anyone, which is that's a great thing we do. But at the same time, I feel like sometimes we need to say things like, and it's not like to be mad at no one, and it's like like this should be this way, and I know you can do it like this way, and even to give better rewards if we got better results. But sometimes like there's things that we need to talk and we don't do.
Yeah, I think that's an issue that will kind of always be there, and it's something that we'll have to figure out in time. I agree with you though. It's really hard to have those conversations with people. But I just wanted to add one thing that I do think that is really important to the framing of the original problem that we talked about, and kind of focusing the work that is being done, like reducing scope, and then adding people after. So the adding people is where we're having issues, and I have an idea for that. But it would require us to go through like an education course where we kind of have like this learn how to DAO from people who are interested in participating in DAOs. And we kind of just set up like this, cohorts where people can come and learn how to take part in a DAO, learn a little about TEC, maybe take on some work with fellow people who are learning, and then let them go where they want to go. But the point is that we have them come in, because there's a lot of people who are exploring DAOs right now, like a staggering amount of people. I mean, people are getting laid off a lot, and they're kind of exploring DAOs as a possible alternative, and there's not really a place for them to go. So I think there's a really unique opportunity to set up kind of like an educational course to serve like, hey, come serve an internship here at the TEC, get a POAP that says I completed the Learn How to DAO course, and then maybe they contribute here and there a little bit within that 1 month period, and then they're free to go explore other DAOs, and just having that type of system in place to where we can attract the human capital. Possibly they stay, possibly they don't, but getting that type of pipeline of people into the TEC, I think it could be a really unique opportunity.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks everyone. We're at the top of the hour. That was amazing. I feel like it'd be nice if we, I feel like I kind of could do it, but don't know when. Probably at post vacation. But if someone wants to do it, like I think it'd be super nice. Like have like all these ideas we talk, like token log, and have a forum post at least to have and share with the rest of the stores that couldn't come, and especially like start taking action. I think like one very good call to action is like having those epics on token log. I think that would help us to advance faster. But yeah, I don't want to take more time. It's already 1 minute past. Thank you so much, everyone. Yeah, see you in the
Thank you so
community.
much, Septi. That
Thanks,
was
Eti.
great.
That was cool.
That was great.
Thank you for the
Bye.
invitation.
Update the slides.
See you later.